moment ago at 18. The third of Robert Thompson.
Robert Thompson has played on the PGA Tour for a number of years also, and a beautiful shot there right underneath the hole.
If you hit that hill, you're going to roll down to the fringe.
Now at 3 under at the 15th, Kelly Korleski.
And he chose to lay it back quite a bit off the tee, Denny. That's farther back than we've seen most players. Gives you a chance to work it around the trees if you happen to push it or pull it off the tee. And good strategy. Worked out for him.
Now the 16 and Pete Morgan.
The breeze has picked up a little bit here, making this uphill shot a little bit more difficult, but he's in the exact center of the fairway as the other two players are.
Good solid shot, fairly commercial. Back-centered portion of the green.
Yeah, that was his A swing. He really has two swings that he seems to use. His one where he comes out of it a little bit and loses a bit of concentration, I think. And then somewhere he's so focused.
Ahead we go now to 17T and Sonny Skinner.
Sonny made a real nice birdie on 16. He'd love to follow it up, but you know the hard thing about hitting on these short downhill par threes is you're pretty much the guinea pig on that first shot. He's got a wedge. He's got to hit it hard.
Oh, man.
All right, Sonny. Sit down.
Very acceptable.
Now this shot not quite so pleasing to the eye as yesterday's, Mark.
No, it's not. You know, that bunker on the left yesterday kind of framed the hole nicely, but today it looks like a little bit of a threat because that yawning bunker in front, Jim.
The 16 and Michael Christie with his second shot.
From 135 yards right center of the fairway with a great look at the pin, which is back left. He's hitting his tee shot about 30 yards on almost every hole past his playing companions and hitting it on the side of the fairway that gives him the best view at the pin.
Back now to 17 and Hugh Royer.
Those pink shafts. Really easy to find Hugh out here. He's got a wedge, and he's gearing down on this a little bit.
Titanium shafts, Mark, so takes a little of the shock out of the hit. Oh, look at this.
Took a little shock out of his hit right there, didn't it?
Be a titanium 2 here momentarily. Hugh Royer the third, cranking it up. And so will we when we come back to Philadelphia.
The hands of Jack Nicklaus have driven 380-yard greens in playoff pressure. They've buried 40-foot putts to determine the outcome of major tournaments. And they've made golf balls perform in ways others never dreamed possible. Today, they bring you the new progressive-sized Bear irons. Isn't it time you put your game in Jack's hands?
American families have made their choice. Once again, they've chosen the Buick LeSabre as Family Circle magazine's Family Car of the Year. For reasons like safety, dependability, performance, and style, American families chose LeSabre as Family Car of the Year over every other sedan, foreign or domestic. Buick LeSabre, the American family car.
Robert Thompson for birdie here to get to +1.
Robert's been struggling with this game this year and not made a lot of money out here so far. Robert from Texas. Just has not got anything going.
+2 for the day.
you're +2, you just feel like you have to make these putts. They're so important. Oh, and that's how his day's been going.
To 16 and Jimmy Johnston.
Yeah.
Pretty good cut. Picked up the tee quickly.
There you see it. That's just in the left fringe, and watch this ball roll down the fairway.
Meanwhile, up ahead, Pete Morgan for birdie.
Another one of these typical Philmont glassy putts down the hill. Gonna move to his left.
When? How hot is it on this green?
Now to the par 3 17th. Sonny Skinner for back-to-back birdies.
He likes the looks of this putt. Not a whole lot of break either way. The speed is not intimidating on him either. Sonny would love to make this and get it going. Like a little decel on that.
Kelly Korleski, by the way, made birdie at 15 to get to 4 under par. And after a brilliant play from the fairway, Michael Christie, who has had the hot hand the last 3 weeks, trying to get to -5, Peter.
And he's got another birdie putt on a hole where I would suspect they're not making too many birdies. Jim, is it fair to say that when a player's hitting his long irons high and his short irons fairly low, that he's on his game and in control as Christie is today?
Oh, exactly. Exactly. With 8 birdies today on this hole, shows you what a great shot this was in here. Doing what he needs to do with the ball. Good. It catches the right corner and goes in.
Michael Christie, a Monday qualifier, ends up a Nike Tour winner. One of the great stories out here on this tour.
It certainly is.
And another wonderful story indeed. Hugh Royer had $2,000 in the bank, Mark Live, before he ended up winning in Richmond. You talk about pressure.
Yeah, that's a lot of heat. But knowing him, you know, he can handle it. And you know something, Denny, that's how golf is. You don't make your money consistently through the year. You make it in chunks. And he's looking like if he can just roll this one through the break, there's not a whole lot to this putt. It's fairly straight. Attaboy.
After other problems on the backside, Vic Wilk now for a birdie at 17 to help the cause. And ahead to the 18th. Morris Italski trying to extricate himself from the rough.
Well, that ball sitting down on Morris, and tried to hit a low punch cut, and the rough just grabbed the club and shut it down. He's going to have a tough up and down from there.
To 16 now, and John Flannery.
John got a little unlucky off the tee. Another 2 yards further to the right, and he would have been in the middle of the fairway. But now has 185 yards, hitting uphill from not the greatest lie.
And now ahead to the 17th tee. Fresh from a birdie, Michael Christie.
The confident Michael Christie.
You're right.
God, that playing short today.
That tends to be the kind of way he's been missing the ball today, just a little bit beyond the hole.
I could hit a sandwich there.
P.H. Horgan now with his second at the 16th.
PH has a 6-iron, just a little over 170 to the pin, hitting uphill.
just back into the deep rough. Be a delicate little chip shot from there.
Well, we all know who's leading this event near the end of the second round of play. Let's take a look at the entire field now. Moment ago, Jimmy Johnston at the 16th. It's a high fade.
Took a lash at it, didn't he?
And a moment ago as well on the tee at 16 at 4 under par. Kelly Korleski.
It's just hard to appreciate how difficult this tee shot is. So there it is, just hitting in the left edge of the fairway, and this ball will run all the way down into the middle.
Dead center, center cut. That's where Brejo, Murphy, and Pernice Jr. are right now, leading at 7 under par.
The battle is on in the German countryside as Europe's best golfers meet in the Volvo Tour's BMW International Open. Choose your tour, the BMW International Open. Round 3 tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Golf Channel.
Coming up on the next Golf Central, can the King continue to play well and wear the crown one more time at the U.S. Senior Open? Or will Tom Weiskopf finally get that elusive major championship? In Memphis, the former U.S. Open champion is near the top of the leaderboard. We'll see if Scott Simpson can catch the leaders. Join us for the next Golf Central.
Tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, only on the Golf Channel.
It would appear as if the magic number today is 7. That's where Brejo, Murphy, and Pernice Jr. stand, all signed, sealed, and delivered, and have finished up the second round of play. Michael Christie playing nicely indeed. He may challenge for the lead before it's all over. And now to the 9th and the second shot of George Burns.
George has got it down here quite a ways. Driver off the tee. Long-time PGA Tour veteran. Out here to play a few events, keep sharp. Yeah, nice shot right underneath the hole.
Now to 17, and to get to -6, Michael Christie.
He's got no doubt about the line or speed because he watched a putt on the same line, and as soon as he hit it, he hated it.
Now you want to talk about a tough little short game shot around the green. PH has got problems here at 16.
Oh, his ball's setting way down. And he had to go chop after it. And that's just kind of semi-okay, but PH gonna have a look at this lie. And he's one of those guys that hates that. He hates that lie right now.
Pete Morgan now for birdie at 17.
After a wonderful shot that spun back off the predominant slope just in front and to the right of him. This is a birdie try. These greens feature a lot of putts like this. Off of mounding slopes.
218, and the birdie bid of Stuart Appleby, who could use a 4 right now at the home hole. Projected cut is even par. Stewart will be making the turn.
Well holed. Good speed on that 5-6 footer.
Stewart 3 under on the front side, or I should say the back side for him. And now to PH to try and save par.
I think this is a big putt for PH because he's played so well today. It would be a shame for him to bogey this hole. He's hit so many good shots.
Well done. Good up and down. That's good work there.
Nicely done, Jim. He didn't have the greatest life, that little pitch shot.
He's an interesting player to watch. Got a lot of energy, always bopping around. He's fun to watch.
Jimmy Johnston now for par.
Jimmy's been struggling a little bit with his distance control today on these longer putts, and he's had several of these comeback putts for par. And made them successfully.
You know, you only have so many of them, though, Gary.
You can only go to the well so many times.
And once more successfully for Jimmy Johnson.
Those will make you old before your time.
If you miss them, they sure will.
David Kirkpatrick from the left rough. And believe me, this is a test of your talents.
Now with that pin cut back left, Denny, this is really a tough shot. Can't even think about where the pin is, but you always kind of get sucked into going at it a little bit. And missing left of this green is not an easy up and down. Look, he had a pretty good lie, though. This one is headed left into the bunker in the deep rough. That'll be some work.
Best finish thus far this year, or I should say career-wise, tied for 3rd in '94. Second year on the Nike Tour. The bright young face out here. Really a very fun tour to watch. Several really outstanding young players. And we go now to the 17th.
Just a little pitching wedge today for PH. This pin perhaps not quite as accessible as yesterday's, but still this is very much a birdie hole, I think, for these players. It's obviously not a long shot, and they typically today, I would imagine, play just a little bit behind the hole, taking the front bunker out of play.
Little piece of information just been passed along. Gary Rusnak with an eagle at 3. And he had lost a couple of shots to par, so he's back to -5 for the tournament.
liking it. He's posing, but boy, just 4 yards too short.
No, that only carried that front bunker by about 2 yards, Jim.
Took a little bit too much off it, huh?
Moment ago, Hugh Royer III with his third at 18.
Boy, there's a good look at how much slope that fairway has for your third shot. Gives you an idea, you people at home, of how much that fairway does slope and how far you do have to play it up the fairway just to get it in the middle.
Now live to Sonny Skinner at 18.
Sonny's got about 140 yards, and not bad that he's in the rough because he really needs to run this ball up anyway. If it flies over that hump, it's, oh, perfect.
Ah, what a nice shot.
You know, Jim, he was a little bit lucky there because I'm sure he was playing short of that slope and playing for the run-up, and boy, he hit right into the middle of it, and it killed it perfectly, didn't it?
Yeah, so he's having a giggle about it. He kind of likes that.
I love it when a plan works out. Just nestled it right up there. Now back to 17. John Flannery trying to get something started.
Nice shot.
Now a man on the move, Kelly Korleski, with his second at the 16th.
After a perfect drive. Trying to get something up in the air, but he's got it going hard right, and that's down the right front portion of the green. That won't be an easy two-putt there.
Back to 17T and Jimmy Johnston.
Jimmy also has a pitching wedge. He's had a little bit of an up and down day today. He's hit a lot of good shots and a few poor ones.
It's a very upright type game, doesn't he, Gary?
He's one of those emotional players, I think, that he sort of wears his heart on his sleeve, and a bit of a streaky player.
Time for us to take a pause here as Jimmy Johnston ponders even par and perhaps the cut here in the Nike Philadelphia Classic.
Just 20 minutes a day is all it takes for you to create the perfect golf swing. Only the SAM 2000 is designed, engineered, and custom-made to give you the perfect golf swing. The SAM 2000 is the world's best golf trainer. With it, you will lower your scores and cut your handicap in half in just 21 days. The SAM 2000 has been proven to give fast results. Recent studies also show SAM 2000 users adding 40 yards to their tee shots. There are many teaching aids on the market that work on different parts of your swing, the takeaway, the backswing, or the follow-through. But the SAM 2000 does it all. One 18 handicapper decreased his handicap by 9 strokes in just 21 days. So call today. We will customize a model to fit you. SAM 2000 owners are seeing amazing results. Longer and straighter tee shots, lower scores, and reduced handicaps as high as 50%. Call today for your personal model and try it for 30 days. Call 1-800-421-1310. That's 1-800-421-1310.
You need all the shots in this game, Mark.
Yes, and Hugh's got one of those right now. Really fluffy lie. What a touch. What a touch. To get that 5 feet from the hole was a spectacular achievement, I'll tell you. He's not happy with it because it kind of got away from him at the last, but he could have very easily fluffed that or knocked it a lot further by than that. There was a lot of slope, a lot of downhill after he got it up over this rise.
To the 17th, Jimmy Johnston. Probably would have been a good putt for yesterday's pin placement, Gary, but not today.
Yeah, I think he would have had about a 4-footer yesterday. Jimmy, a very good player, played very well in college at Georgia Tech and did very well in the Atlanta Classic one year when he was on the PGA Tour, and sure a player that is going to do very well out here.
Gary, you know, Jim Nelford's told me that for years you've been about one of the best players at par threes at hitting the ball close to where the flagstick that was the day prior. You know, the old cups, he said, if you watch Gary, I mean, he's holed out several along those lines. And really, that's a talent that not everybody has.
Yes, it is. It's one I'm very proud of and one I've worked very hard at.
Just bad timing. Just bad timing.
It's all timing, Gary.
My wife bought me a T-shirt the other day. It said, "The older you get, the better you used to be."
Now this would be a major accomplishment for Kelly Korleski to birdie 16.
Cross-country putt here. Any one of the longer ones you can have on this golf course. He still left himself 4 feet or so.
218 and a birdie opportunity for Sonny Skinner.
You know, Sonny got a good break, as we said, on that third shot. But he's not so sure of that right now. This is a slick little devil here. Not a whole lot of break. Good work.
Nice stroke there, wasn't it, Mark?
Sure was. You know, on those, Jim, it's so easy to not commit to it and just kind of bail out on it, but he stayed right with it. Nice sigh of relief by Sonny Skinner.
After just carrying the bunker at 17, PH with a chance for 2.
He's actually got one of the better putts on the green now. It's fairly level, if anything, a little bit uphill, and the type of putt he can be a little firm with. And he certainly deserves one. He's hit a lot of very good shots today and deserves to have a good round.
PH 2 under on the afternoon.
Kind of an unusual thing he does with the putter, again, holding it up. For a lot of players, for me, I always felt like that created too much tension because I was trying to hold it steady here. He just, watch this, just barely puts it on the ground. All during his practice strokes, he never soles the putter.
I think your assessment, though, of getting a feel for the blade and the stroke and the rhythm, it's easier to do that when it's off the ground.
I'm always afraid I'm going to nudge the ball if I do that. Not paying attention, or looking at the hole, the putter's in the air.
All right, Kelly, steady nerves here to save the 4. Rattled it around a little bit at 16. And a safe par a moment ago at the 18th, Hugh Royer III.
All-star up and down there, Denny.
Now John Flannery for birdie at 17.
Well, it looks like he hit an awful good putt there. It just didn't turn. He thought he'd made it all the way. When you're hot, you're hot. When you're not, you're not.
Now to 18 and E.J. Pfister.
Like to duplicate the result of the ball you'll see in a moment, just a couple of feet from the hole. He's pulled this and left himself a very difficult pitch out of the long stuff, left and short of the hole.
Back now to the 18th tee, and this is just an absolutely beautiful vantage point of this wonderful golf facility.
The fairway sits some 40 feet below the players here. The huge trees on the right and on the left. You actually want to drive it up the left side of the fairway here so you can open up your second shot somewhat for your layup, but anything in the fairway is pretty good. And that looks perfect right down the middle. Drawing to the left side of the fairway. Easy. Yeah, they caught the left hand rough. PH is staring at it in disbelief. Thought, man, that was pretty good.
Back to the 17th tee, and Kelly Korleski at -4 for this tournament.
And you can see the flagstick not moving at all. He's players have had perfect conditions for 2 days on this golf course. They predicted maybe thunderstorms and winds, and these guys have dodged a bullet. About 18, 20 feet for Kelly for his birdie.
Jimmy Johnston now next to play at the 18th.
PH over there working it out. Distance not really a factor off this hole for any of these players. Very important, though, to get in a place where you can advance it another 175 yards up the fairway, at least. Some guys even take 3 woods and try to hit just duck slices in there for their second shot.
Flop shot by E.J. Pfister at the 18th.
And just left himself with no shot there, Denny. One of those places that had the big X on it on the yardage book. Don't hit it here.
Under the circumstances, a pretty good shot, though, don't you think, Jim?
I thought it was. Yes, that ball was sitting way down, and now he's left himself with 6, 7 feet. A well-executed shot, just not much of a chance. And there we have a look at 18 and the way it's played. No eagles. It's unreachable in 2. 45 birdies and 36 bogeys, and 12 of those others. So playing over par for a par 5, unusual on this Nike Tour.
Now Michael Christie with an excellent chance to get to -6.
There's an unusual sight. Michael Christie putting for birdie again inside of 10 feet.
Won't be unusual if he makes it.
Well, that hole looks like a trash chute to him, so big.
No, got bouncing on him. He's disgusted with where that bounced.
That thing was airborne the entire roll. Okay, goodbye.
Got frequent flyer miles on that putt.
Hop the entire way.
Fresh leaderboard. Bill Buttner with a birdie at 12 has moved to within 1 of the log jam at -7. Buttner with an opening round 69. 5 birdies on the day. And now Pete Morgan trying to make birdie at 18.
Well, he needs this and a bunch more. His game steadied out the last few holes. This is the kind you want for Bird.
Good one.
He'll salvage a little self-esteem. Pete Morgan 2 under today, so playing quite a bit better than his disaster yesterday.
It's always nice to bounce back in day 2 just to let yourself know that you can play. Kelly Korleski. Interesting story, this young man. We got a chance to catch up with him, what was it, about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Wasn't even playing in the tournament. Was up on the practice range hitting balls, getting ready for next week. Just didn't quite get through the Monday qualifier, but that's what it's all about out here. If you don't make one, you better start getting ready to take advantage of the next opportunity.
Now, these young guys work so hard at it out here. They're really making it a business and paying close attention to all the details.
Good effort there. Easy tap in for 3. We'll take a break. Catch you up on a little bit more history here in the Philadelphia area, and then be back with more golf. Most people associate the Liberty Bell with the events of the American Revolution. However, Philadelphia's most famous attraction was actually created to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Pennsylvania Charter of Privileges. Cast in London, the bell arrived in Philadelphia back in 1752. According to legend, the bell's famous crack occurred while tolling during the funeral of Chief Justice John Marshall in 1835. Today, the bell is a cherished and revered symbol of American freedom.
When was the last time you played in the rain? Let your hair go wild. Flexed your muscles to the world. Stayed up past your bedtime. time you really had fun in a car? Riviera by Buick. Go ahead, express yourself.
Hello, I'm Peter Kessler. On the next Golf Talk Live, you'll meet Tommy Bolt, one of golf's most tempestuous performers, one of the best shot makers of his or any era. That's Tommy Bolt on the next Golf Talk Live.
Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on the Golf Channel.
Three-way tie for the lead. It's been that way most of the day here in the Nike Philadelphia Classic at round number 2. A moment ago, this was, what's the old story? Drive for show, drive for dough, putt for, what? He's got a driver in his hand here. What's the problem?
Yeah, this is the second. Yeah.
Evidently, he wasn't putting very well for dough.
And the always volatile one, Dennis Trixler, well, gonna have to finish out with a long stick. And as Dennis taps in with the driver at 16, don't forget, coming up on the Golf Channel, all sorts of different types of programming. Oh, Palmer, Player, and Nicklaus. Challenge Golf coming your way today on the Golf Channel beginning at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. All three of those guys embroiled in the United States Senior Open at this point in time at Congressional Golf Club. How about Mr. Palmer yesterday, an even par 72?
Wasn't that great?
Yeah, Jack Nicklaus 1 under.
Palmer swinging great right now.
And now we go to the 17th. Not many birdies today there. Only got 124 yards.
You'd expect a lot more, Denny, you know, with a 124-yard shot. Playing kind of short. Michael Christie said he hit sand wedge and got it past the hole, so the guy's just worried a little bit about the yardage and how it's playing.
Well, also, too, if you had a little different vantage point, if you miss this green to the right, you're going to roll for days. There's a nice little drop-off down there. It's a little ledge.
I think they're aware of that, too, and we've seen an awful lot of balls to the left of the flag. You know, a lot more than you would expect in any other circumstance. And it's 6 yards from the right edge of the green, so it's not quite as close as some of the pins. We've got 5 pins that are 4 yards from the edge today on the backside alone, so they're a little more cautious, but they really had a lot of shots at it yesterday on this hole.
JC in his 6th year on the Nike Tour. Good safe play. Now to the 18th. John Flannery next to play.
This is John's third shot, having hit the ball in the trees off the tee, punched out to here. 155 yards with a little 7-iron.
He's got to hit a low cut underneath the trees, Gary?
Just a little bit, and he hit that very nicely, Jim.
Boy, look at this. Gorgeous shot. Kind of hate to waste those when you're 5 over.
Hands of a surgeon. Just carved that one right in there. Now, PH, who's been checking that hand position or club face position for a while.
That's been his routine consistently all day, and it's obviously working. He's swinging very well. On a little bit of an upslope here, about 135 yards to the pin. Just a smooth 9-iron.
Oh, and it just catches the ledge and is drawing back down to the bottom portion. Bit of a bad break there for PH. If it carries two or 3 feet farther, he's got a very realistic birdie putt.
This is going to be a round that he can look back on, Jim, and say this could have been a 66 or a 67.
Well, still has 9 holes to go, so it may get there yet, but he's certainly left a lot on the golf course.
And Jimmy clattered through the trees on his second shot, hit about 7 trees, and finished here has about 85 yards to the pin, and in actual fact has a pretty decent shot to the hole.
So you get 97 carry to the top of the rim.
Well, right now 57 players are at even or better, so this cut may actually even go up to 1 over, depending how these fellows all play their back nine. But it's been creeping up there. So you guys are at 1 over. Don't pack the bags and get down the road yet. You may have a tee time tomorrow. Boy, took a big swing at a sand wedge. Put some good stuff on it. Nice shot.
Jimmy heads to the 18th green with a birdie chance in mind. That's the final shot of our regular golf coverage here in round number 2 of the Nike Philadelphia Classic. Jeff Breho, Sean Murphy, Tom Pernice Jr. all tied at 7 under par. Joe Choi, Brett Quigley, and a number of other players just a couple of shots back. Don't forget, coming up next, only on the Golf Channel, the Scorecard Report, live and direct here from Philmont Country Club in Greater Philadelphia. Interviews, analysis, highlights, and a trip to the practice tee, more than likely. Still a half hour of coverage to go here on the Scorecard Report. Back with more of our golf coverage from the Nike Philadelphia Classic after we take this time out.
In choosing the right shafts, torque is important, but shaft stiffness and tip flexibility are even more important. True Temper combines the right shaft properties to give you the best performance no matter what shaft you choose. So remember, torque, stiffness, and tip flexibility. Or just remember, True Temper.
True Temper makes it easy to choose the right shafts. The Integrated Performance Series. The performance of the most famous steel shafts, now on graphite. From True Temper.
The first Nike event ever to be held in Philadelphia. Who will walk away with the prize? Tom Sherrod? Brad Fable? Or will it be Stan Utley? The Golf Channel brings you the most coverage of the Nike Tour with the Philadelphia Classic.
Day 3, tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Thanks for coming on back to our Scorecard Report under partly cloudy skies here in Philadelphia. Before we head down to our studios, P.H. Horgan with a birdie opportunity at the 18th from the lower ledge. Bit unlucky. If he had flown it a couple more feet, he'd have been right next to the hole. That for par for a P.H. at the 18th. Time for us to take a break now here in Philadelphia and head back down to Orlando, Florida to get an update on the world of golf.
Top of the afternoon to all. We'll rejoin our broadcast team at the Nike Philadelphia Classic in a few moments. First, though, a few matters to take care of here. Day 2 of the U.S. Senior Open at the Congressional Country Club. What did happen today? J.C. Snead was one of the players who had an opportunity to do some things. Here he is on number 8, his approach shot. He lands it within about 2 feet of the cup. That set up a birdie. Gave him the lead at 6 under. But then Snead runs into some trouble on number 10. That's a bogey. Falls him back to 4 under. The putter was working much better for the rookie, Hale Irwin. The long one on 16. He gets it to go. Moves to 5 under. He bogeyed 18, finishing 4 under. After 73 yesterday, Lee Trevino had his game really on. His third shot on 15. Boy, that's a nice one. He saved his par, shot a 68 and 3 under for the tournament. How about Bob Murphy on 17? The birdie putt He uses the entire top portion of the cup, gets it in. The Murph is 5 under. And check out these moves. Spry fellow. Graham Marsh, his 4-iron. This is on 14. Watch this action. The ball rolls very nicely to within about a foot. Marsh's birdie gets him to 6 under, but he bogeyed 15, finishing 5 under. Out of all the great players, only one could keep at it. Tom Weiskopf, who made this birdie at 11, which gives him 69-69 for the first 2 days. And he is the leader, 6 under. There are 3 players 5 under, Murphy, Dave Stockton, and Marsh. The rookie Irwin and Asao Aoki are 4 under. A quartet of players 3 under, including Trevino, Sneed, and Barnes. 7 players 2 under. Among those, Larry Loretti, John Morgan, Jack Nicklaus, Raymond Floyd, and Tommy Aaron. Some notable scores. Gary Player is even par. There are 5 players 1 over, including Arnold Palmer, Calvin Peete, Jim Colbert. And the commish, Dean Beeman. Boy, is he having some problems. Afternoon play from Congressional comes your way later today at 4 p.m. Eastern, courtesy ESPN. Some possible future senior stars are on display in the PGA Tour's FedEx St. Jude Classic in Memphis, Tennessee. Would TPC at Southwind yield record scores for a second consecutive day? Well, so far, things are looking good for Jim Gallagher Jr., who's 14 under and has a lead by 1 over Bob Tway. Jay Delsing is 4 shots off the lead. Gene Sowers and Glenn Day, they, of course, had that record-tying round yesterday, is 9 under, along with Mike Stanley, who also tied that record round yesterday. John Cook, 8 under, along with Mark Brooks. You see 5 players are 7 under, including Scott Verplank, and D.A. Wybring. Kurt Triplett is 6 under. Round 1 of the Youngstown Warren LPGA Classic was delayed by an hour and a half because of rain. Nancy Harvey and Cindy Rarick are 2 of a host of players 3 under. You see Dottie Mockery also there. She is through 16. A truly forgettable turn of events from the vantage point of one of the Volvo Tour's regular stars. This taking place at the BMW International in Germany. Our Renton Laidlaw, of course, called the action for you and has more.
Well, at the end of the first round, it was Mats Hallberg from Sweden and Raymond Burns from Northern Ireland who were out in the lead. And at this stage on the second day of the BMW International, it's 2 other players not normally up on the leaderboard, at the top of the leaderboard, who are up there at the moment. Jarmo Sandlin, the big hitting Swede who attracts so much attention, is up there on 7 under par after he took a 69 today. And Owen O'Connell from Southern Ireland had a 65. That so far is equaling the best round of the week. Preferred lies again today, so no chance of a record. Sandy Lyle actually went round in 64, which would have been a record had they not been preferring that lies here. But the 64 didn't count anyway, because sadly, Sandy had signed the day before for a 75. Shot of the day came from Mark Rowe. He pulled out his wedge at the 16th, the par 5, and hit it straight into the hole from about 120 yards. He's on 5 under par, just 2 shots off the lead here in Munich. Brenton Laidlaw for Golf Central at Sindora.
O'Connell and Jarmo Sandlin are 7 under. Terry Price, 1 of 2 players, 6 under. If you'd like to see Mark Rowe's shot and see what happened to Sandy Lyle, we will replay it all for you tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Then tomorrow, 3rd round coverage comes your way at 9 a.m. Eastern from Germany. Remember to join Brian Hammonds and yours truly tonight for Golf Central. That's at 7:30. We will have everything you could possibly want to know about the day in the sport. Now let's get you back out to the Nike Philadelphia Classic and our dynamic duo of Denny Schreiner and Jim Nelf for Gentlemen, a beautiful day in the city of brotherly love.
Sure it is, Dwayne, as long as you're making plenty of birdies and occasional par now and then. Shoot a 66 or a 67. As we take a look at our current leaderboard, Bill Butner continues to move up that board. Who knows, by the time it's all said and done here this afternoon,